Hi Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Morning, it's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. It's Wednesday. That means we'll have JC in just a second. Second part of today's program. Scott Rabalais from the Advocate over in Baton Rouge. Talk a little LSU football. Is Jayden Daniels going to play or not? I doubt he plays, personally. I don't think he will. But we'll ask Scott, get his thoughts. Is LSU going to even show up? I mean, they have 3 losses. They have nothing to play for other than go to a good bowl game. Kids may be sitting out, transferring. Who knows? JC, you're on the Titanamo hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's just chaos over there in Baton Rouge, you know. They put all their eggs in the basket last weekend. All those eggs fell right out the bottom and cracked all over their feet. But, hey, you know, listen, you still have a good season, be 9-3. Who knows? Listen, I'm not worried about LSU. That's LSU's problem. I think we got enough to think about right here in little old Gainesville. And,
yep.
You know,
before hang on a second. I got a question for you and all our listeners. Okay. I do not really watch the NBA, JC.
Right.
I know you don't. But did you know they're having an in-season tournament right now, which I have no idea what that means. I saw it. I clicked on I never watched SportsCenter, by the way, but it happened when I turned the TV on, it happened to be on there, and I was eating breakfast yesterday or the day. I don't remember when it was. They're talking about this in-season tournament. I need somebody to explain to me what the hell it means.
Why? Why do you need that?
Because, well, first of all, they've never done it. And, okay, let's say you win the in-season tournament. What does that do for you? Does it give you better playoff seedings? I don't know. Playoffs aren't until like June or July. So, anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, but I did.
I don't either. Well, hey, look, that's fine. It's on your mind. You're thinking about it. But now I lost my train of thought.
Your train of thought is you think Georgia Tech's going to beat Georgia. That's what your train of thought is.
Hey, it's King.
Give me whatever you're drinking today.
He's on fire. No, listen. It's their big rival game. No, I think I think this weekend is going to be exciting. I think some really exciting games on Week 11's schedule this weekend. I think Alabama needs to be careful not to have a letdown at Kentucky. They're playing a noon game up there. I think you've got a real good schedule of football, and you know we're going to start seeing some things materialize. I think that Tennessee-Missouri game, you know, QB is as crazy as this sounds. Tennessee still has a chance to win the East. So,
they do?
Tennessee, yeah, if they beat Missouri, and Ole Miss or you somehow trips up Georgia. And then they beat Georgia, they're in. Simple. It's that simple.
I got a better chance of probably winning the lottery than all that happening.
Well, you know, I know you're ready to make the Georgia Bulldogs the 86 Giants.
No, I think from a physicality standpoint, Ole Miss is getting run into something they ain't seen. That's all.
Well, they did. They saw it in Tuscaloosa and they got 10 points. So, I mean, you know, you're right. I mean, there's a physical nature to the game that maybe Mississippi's not ready for that Georgia certainly can bring to the table. But Michigan is going to finally play a team with a pulse, even though it's just Penn State. It is in Happy Valley. Michigan's had a lot of distractions. That's going to be an interesting game. It seems like Michigan always plays their games at noon for some reason, too. I can't quite get over that one. But I don't know if
I firmly believe that. Well, I firmly believe even with the SEC teams now, they're putting, you know, the noon game for the SEC teams used to be the worst time slot. I think it's changed to the 7:30. I really do. I think the 7:30 is now the game that nobody wants to watch, or that's what the SEC thinks.
Well, QB Mississippi's playing Georgia at 7 o'clock. Florida's playing LSU
at
7
o'clock. 7 o'clock on ESPN. not
Okay.
the 7:30 SEC network game like what we're going to be on. I just think they've changed it. I really do. Real quick, Brandon on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, says, Shane, I watched you on David Waters' podcast. And can you please elaborate on how you fix the game day issues that continue to plague the Gators? You mentioned that every team you've been a part of, the coordinators and their assistants are all part of the plan, and perhaps that's not the case with this staff. Did I understand this correctly? Yes. And I wanted to jump into this because
Go ahead.
Everybody thinks if Billy Napier hires an offensive coordinator, this is going to solve all the problems. Okay. Let me ask you this first, JC. When you watch the Gators, use these, it's A, B, or C. No, it's three. It's A, B, C, or D. A is offense your biggest problem. B is defense your biggest problem. C is special teams your problem. I'm kind of joking around here. But, JC, when you watch, you're an Alabama guy, but you like the Gators too. When you watch the Gators, what's your biggest issue with the Gators?
Well, it's clearly B and C. I mean, it's clearly B and C.
Okay.
They scored 36.
That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going with this because I know people sit here, all they want to talk about is play calling. I get it. When a play works, you don't say a damn word, do they? I mean, it's a fact.
They cheer. They go like this.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if Kyle Shanahan calls a play. If it doesn't work, they're going to bitch and complain. If it works, they're standing on their feet. Okay, we have problems defensive and on defensive special teams. Okay, so everybody keeps thinking if Billy hires an offensive coordinator, that's going to solve all the problems. It ain't, people. And what I meant by everybody's part of the operation, I go back to I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but let's just mention the field goal at the end of the game. That is not a Billy. Is Billy responsible because he's head coach? Yes. His assistants are responsible for what happened because every coach has a responsibility, whether you're an offensive coach or a defensive coach, you're responsible for everything that's going on as well. But every assistant is responsible and has a part of special teams. I just wish people would understand that. It's on every team. Every team does that.
Well, maybe
so
folks maybe they have a better understanding of it after you've given us this little dissertation. I'm fine with that.
I keep doing it. I keep doing it, and people keep asking me about offensive coordinator. It will help Billy with his game day decisions. No, it will not, people. It will not, because you have to have help on the sidelines. One guy can't do it all. Nick Saban does not do it all. Steve Spurrier did not do it all. Urban Meyer did not do it all. Your coaches are a vital part of everything that happens through the course of a game. Your assistant coaches that have headsets on. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Yeah. So the average fan is just going to sit there and continue bitching about offensive play calling. That is not the problem, people. That is not the problem.
No, I get it, but maybe that's one of the things that makes them unhappy. On top of some of these other issues that are blaringly obvious, and the way they handled that last 16 seconds.
Well, like I just said, JC, did I just not say?
Yes, you did.
Whether it's the field goal unit or the kickoff return, there's a special teams coordinator, but there are two assistants that are part of that are helping in that area of special teams. Right. So on the Titan MR text line, this is an anonymous texter from the 917 area code where it says, new OC doesn't only benefit play calling, it would free Napier up to focus on the other areas of the game, reduce procedural crap. I totally disagree with that. I just explained it. Look, I've played football a lot. I've been in meetings. I've been on the sidelines. I'm telling y'all how games operate. And my people will not listen to that because it's on every freaking team, even at the high school level. Everybody is a part of everything that goes on. The head coach has the final decision on everything, but he trusts. Okay, JC, it's no different. When you put a staff together, you trust that Coach X is going to do his job.
Yeah. No, I know.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think
one guy is not going to do it all, is my point to the whole story. All right, here we go. We got a couple other texts here on the Titan MR text line. Who is this from? It's very long. I don't know if it's from today or yesterday. It says, Shane just pointed out yesterday that LSU beat Arkansas by a field goal with 5 seconds left in the game. Just wanting people to Take one game at a time. Let's go get LSU. And I do not think Jayden Daniels is going to play in this game. Josh Pate, somebody sent me whatever Josh Pate said about Billy Napier. I'll have to look at that at a later date. This is from somebody said, I'd rather see O and B bloods be developed over time than pull from the portal for instant gratification. I'm happy with consistent 10-2 season with true-hearted Gators.
10-2.
Yeah. You know, Ole Miss has 16 of their 22. Ole Miss, I think 16 of their 22 starters came from the portal.
So did Florida State.
And then they got Florida State, I think, has 18 of their 22 starters are from the portal. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but I don't understand why the fans are so caught up in this offensive coordinator. We're like fifth in the league in offense, I think. But our biggest issues. Oh, somebody sent me this too, JC. I got to read this one, and then we'll move on.
Go ahead. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
How about this? How about this stat, JC?
Let's hear it.
The Mighty Gators have given up at least 39 points in 3 consecutive games. Let me say that again. They have given up 39. Hang on, let me finish. They've given up 39 points in 3 consecutive games. Last time that happened in one season was in 1917.
Well, QB, and then we get guys.
And everybody's worried about play calling.
Yeah, and then we get guys like Chris from Cottonwood or whatever, Cottondale. It's insane that JC thinks Mike Peterson should be the defensive coordinator. It's insanity. It's insanity. And then you got guys like Asa get on here. JC's a carnival barking idiot. Blah 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 blah. blah. Let me tell
JC,
you,
don't let them hurt your feelings, JC. You got
no, I'm not going Dabo. I'm not going Dabo. But what I'm saying is it really that outlandish that Mike Peterson, the guy I've elected, I haven't even talked to him. I don't know Mike. Mike doesn't know me. He probably doesn't even want to talk about it. But is it that crazy that a 14-year veteran of the NFL who made the Pro Bowl, who played for 3 different teams and was very good at Florida, by the way, Hall of Famer, is it that outlandish to think that maybe this guy can coach the defensive unit as a whole and not just the damn linebackers? Now, again, I don't know if he has any interest or would to be the defensive coordinator at Florida, but my point was, and this went right over Chris's head, and right over Ace's head, and right over everybody's damn head, is that we need Florida Gator greats to take over this program internally, on the sideline, and everywhere else. Because when they were playing, they were coached and learned from the very best this school has ever had, okay, ever. So I think it's pretty logical to assume that they could carry that over and carry it through to the coaching world and help Florida get that edge back that, hey, they have so woefully been missing over the years. You have an athletic director who called Charles Edward Kelly to come and interview for the job here. By the way, Charles Edward at UCLA is 33-33. He is 500. And here we are bitching and complaining about a guy who's 11-11. And I watched that show yesterday with you and Buddy, and I felt like you guys were getting ready for a damn funeral. I mean, I'm
just tired of talking about the same stuff because people look, there's a lot of issues. I just had somebody else just send on a Facebook Live about we need to hire an OC because Billy can think of multiple play situation in advance rather than the moment. No, as a play caller, you're already thinking of stuff. You're already thinking of the 2 plays after you call 1 play. I mean, you think in advance. So anyway,
you're still on offense. Let's talk about the defense, dude. That's where they got to get right. They got to get right there.
JC, Andy on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon. I want you to call the band director to get Gator Bait back. Can you do that?
When the other team ran out of the tunnel, it wasn't just the band during the game. When the other team came out of the tunnel, I stood up as a 12-year-old young man in Gainesville, Florida, next to my dad, tenured professor there on the 38-yard line, and I was screaming, Gator Bait, Gator Bait, Gator Bait. I hated Auburn and LSU and these teams that came in, and I was screaming Gator Bait. They took that away, and that's part of the problem here, is that you got people taking the identity of this school away, and we need to bring it back. And we need to bring it back when Spurrier was here in the idea that we're going into every game ready to whip your ass. And I just don't see that mentality because I see the way the defense plays. You've said it before. Defense is an attitude. It's a mentality. They don't have that. And a guy like Mike Peterson would get that back for them if he was given the reins on the defense.
All right. Brandon asked here, he says, Shane, you're a big proponent of not giving up the play calling duties if that's what landed you the job. And for some coaches, I feel the same way. However, with Napier, you have mentioned that we were too conservative at times. Do not play our playmakers enough and get the balls in their hands and have continued inexcusable game day blunders such as last week. I believe the entire Gator Nation agrees with you on this, and every one of these problems that I've listed fall on the head coach. I agree. Either he has to change or hire some different coaches to help. What are your thoughts? Okay, again, I have said that I feel like we're too conservative and we don't play our players enough? Yes, I agree. But just because you hire an offensive coordinator to come in and do that, remember, the head coach still has the final say.
I mean, would it be terrible if they made some wholesale changes? I mean, to me it sounds like
I would have no problem. I really like Billy. I like Billy. I think he builds a program. I think he recruits his tail off. I don't have a problem. I mean, I would love to change some things offensively, but again, I have bigger concerns across the board than offense.
Well,
that's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Everybody thinks if he brings in, I don't care if he hired you, JC, to call offensive plays. Billy is still going to be doing the same thing because he's an offensive head coach.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people don't understand. Like when Spurrier was the head coach, he called the plays. He went with the offense. He didn't even go over to the defensive field ever in practice. The same way with Lane. Lane goes straight to the offense.
No.
Same way with Kirby. Kirby goes over to the defense and lets Mike Bobo do his stuff over here. So I think people just think that if he becomes the head coach, he's just going to roam and he's going to make all these great decisions and because he can think. Well, let me tell you something, folks. He's thinking during the game right now.
Yeah.
And you have everybody on a staff is part of the plan and part of executing the game day procedurals. That's where I'm trying to get people to understand.
How about getting people to understand that this coach is going nowhere. They owe him $55 some odd million. So I can get up here, like Asa says, be a carnival barker and scream for Kerwin Bell. It's not going to happen.
He said he didn't call you that, by the way. I just read it on Facebook.
Oh, okay. He can call me. It's okay. That's fine. Maybe I am a carnival barker. But the fact of the matter is that I'd be a lot happier with some former Gators coaching this damn team. And I'd be a lot happier with an identity that Florida used to have coming back in a leadership role. And I don't see that right now. And yeah, they owe this guy $55 million. So just folks, sorry. He's not going anywhere. This is the way it is. You're going to be 11-11 or 11-13, and that's it after 2 years. And let's hope these new kids that come in can turn the fortunes around. But I'm just a little surprised the way it's worked out this year. That's all.
All right. Couple things here. Dan says on Facebook Live, if basketball is not playing the national anthem, good luck getting the Gator Bait cheer back. Did we not play the national anthem at the basketball game?
I can't imagine that. Why would that?
I can't either.
I can't imagine that. I mean, what?
Yeah, no, Dan, give us some more information on that one.
Yeah.
Andy says with Lagway coming in next year, won't the playbook need to change to ease him in? I don't think the playbook's very difficult.
How do we know he's going to be? Wait, well, hold on. First of all, how do we know he's going to be our starting quarterback next year? We don't know that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Graham Mertz is coming back. Now, Graham may want to go in the transfer portal and go play somewhere else. Who knows?
That's right.
I mean, I'm just saying he's got another year of eligibility, and you're going to see kids doing that.
I agree.
Not just here, but I'm talking about all around the country.
I agree. Now, that's the problem, though. If a guy like Graham Mertz, who's been clearly the leader of this team, in my opinion, up and leaves, what's that? What kind of message does that send? And I'm not saying that will happen, or that he's even considering it. It's an option, but I doubt he will. But if he does, what does that message send to the new kids coming in? I think we're getting way far ahead of ourselves right now. We're way far ahead of our skis right now. I'm just trying to see if there's a way to 6 wins for this team right now. And there could be, but they'll have to play better.
All right. Andy says the national anthem was not played at the basketball game Monday night. Maybe it was played before the girls' game, and they didn't play it twice. Is all I can think, because it was a back-to-back doubleheader.
Yeah, could be.
I'll have to look into that. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. Speaking with JC on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements, we'll have Scott Rabalais from the Baton Rouge Advocate. Talk a little LSU football with him and get his thoughts on his LSU packing it in. Joseph says this is Billy's second defensive coordinator hire. He doesn't have many more chances without success. I think people forget about that, right?
Yeah, I forgot about it already.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like whether you want to say the old guy was a good coordinator or not, do you like Austin Armstrong? Is it an upgrade? Blah, blah, blah. My point again is it's a collective effort, and everybody has responsibilities on a football team as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And whether he needs to find guys that have coached a long time that really know what they're doing, or I don't know. I don't know the answer. If I knew the answer, I'd have a consulting firm going on, JC.
Well,
maybe I should start a consulting firm.
Yeah, and hire me. Hire me because my consultation starts with hire more Florida greats to be on your staff if you want that Florida identity. Now, if you want to create your own identity, get on with it. You're in year 2, and you need to get on with it because as I've heard, the seat's not necessarily hot, but it's warming up. And I again, though, I go back to the economics of it, and that they are stuck, just like Texas A&M seems stuck. They're not going to get rid of Jimbo this year. John James is not going.
They might. JC, they got way more money than we do.
Granted, that doesn't mean they want to spend it on something like this. I don't know. Maybe they do.
Right.
I mean, remember, a booster has a choice. A booster can send the money to the NIL. A booster can send it here. They just need to know where to send it. But that's the only check they're writing. And there's a lot of places it can go. And I don't know. I don't know about coaching buyouts, man. It seems like an absolute. It seems fraudulent. It really does.
Yeah. I did I should have got into coaching right out of college and got fired a bunch. And
QB, you told me you don't remember this because there's a lot of things you forget, but you did tell me about 8 years ago, maybe it was 9, when we were doing the morning radio show, and you said, JC, I'm moving to Jacksonville. I'm going to get into coaching, And I said, well, what about Luke and this and that and the other? And you talked about it and so forth. And you went to Jacksonville to coach, all right? And you did get into coaching. Then you got out of it. Now you're back in.
Well, because I also, if you get into coaching and you got kids, you'll never see your kids play or never be part of their lives. I mean, That's a fact. I coached, I think, 5 Gator coaches' kids at Buchholz, and I think they watched their kids in their entire high school career maybe twice.
You were the head guy.
I would never do that.
You were the head guy.
Right, and we had no players. And my kid wanted me to come back home to coach him, and so I did that.
Just amazing.
Kerwin's tried to hire me multiple times, but it's not worth. I had to get in it when I was 25, 26, not when I'm 38, 39.
No, I get it. Now, Kerwin, go ahead.
Greg from Fort Myers on the Titan Tomorrow text line says he agrees 100% with us about top priorities to fix. It doesn't matter who is a coach. If the defensive line can't anchor and linebackers don't fill their gaps, we're not stopping anybody.
Not stopping anybody. Yep.
Trevor from Spartanburg is quite the villain now. Do you think Notre Dame game was a turning point for Clemson football moving forward? No, I think Notre Dame was a little overrated. And Clemson's, they're not a horrible football team. If you talk about a couple of plays here or there, Clemson's record would be a lot better. I think they lead the league, the nation in turnovers that have really killed them.
True. Well, they better be careful this weekend because the Ramblin' Wreck is rolling in to Death or Happy Valley in the South Carolina. The Ramblin' Wreck is rolling in, bro.
All right. RD from Jupiter says reinstate Gator bait chant. Sign the petition. He's got a petition going. JC's going to lead that.
Hey, I got my man, the mayor here. I'm going to put it on here. There he is. Bring back Gator bait. You can't see it, QB, but there's the mayor. I visited the mayor in his glorious tailgate this weekend. I highly recommend everybody go to Museum Road and Frat Row and go see these guys. Bring back Gator bait. There it is. That's the mayor. The mayor says it. If the mayor says it, you better get on board. I'm with the mayor, by God. I'm with him. Those guys That had to be the most fun tailgate I've ever been to since college. Maybe even better than that. I love those guys. The Harmonic Woods Gator. God, I can't speak enough.
Well,
now
you have a home. You have a home for home
I do.
games, JC.
That's where I'm going, man. That's where I'm going. I'm gonna drink me some Iron City beer because Brett's gonna fill me up, and we're gonna have us a hell of a good time before the Gator. What?
JC, next time you go, maybe bring something to the table for them. Don't just mooch off of them. Bring something.
Look, they invited me. All right, I'll be there next time with something for them, though. You can count on it. I'm not going to the Florida State game. That's next year. Next year, I'll be bringing them. You know, it'll be a whole new season. Everything will be new, but they'll still be there, and I'll come. And I'll bring something.
Why are you not going to the Florida State game?
I'm going to be in Texas. It's that Thanksgiving weekend thing, and I'll be coming back from Texas that day.
All right, JC, we got people here like asking you to lead these pursuits of change. Brandon says the administration can start accepting alumni and past players' kids instead of rejecting them. That's the first change that needs to happen. I agree 1,000% with that, Brandon.
1,000%, man. You can't get a kid to have a 38 on the ACT and have a 4.6 GPA, and you're telling me that's not good enough to get into this wannabe Ivy League school? Give me a damn break. Let's get this identity back at the University of Florida. Let's start with the administration and work our way down, top down, and let's get the football program that Gator feel again. I don't know who these guys are. What the hell is that black uniform garbage? That's garbage. We're getting into things that don't matter. When Scott Strickland wants to hire a coach, he doesn't need to pull up the paper and say who's the hot name. He needs to know what the hell he's doing. Chip Kelly, my God. And then, the thing is that we've got to find that Gator mentality to come back and be a part of this again. So if you want to play good defense, get some former Gators who were great on defense and get them in charge. That's how you do it. I have spoken my piece, and people can disagree if they want. That's fine. But I don't like what I'm watching. I haven't liked it in 3 years.
JC, do you want to bring Bob Stoops back as your defensive coordinator?
He wouldn't do it. But
I'm kidding,
but
dude.
Listen, before these guys were great defensive coordinators, what were they, right? And I know this job, and this is a very important point. I got to make this. The University of Florida is not a job it's not on the job training for your coaching career here at Florida so you can, get better. This is not where you come to do on the job training. And I feel like that's what we're watching. Now, Dan Mullen, he coached at Mississippi State for 10 years. He coached at Florida with Urban. It wasn't on the job training for him. He just forgot how to do it. And, off the field with the recruiting and so forth, he just let it go. It's like an old girlfriend. It's just haul ass. Let's go, leave. But right now, it feels like we've got on-the-job training going on. And I don't like it. That's not what Florida should be. That's what FIU is. That's what FAU is. That's what South Florida is. It's not Florida, man. Get your crap together over there, guys. Get your crap together.
JC, we got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Robert. He says, JC, why are you wearing a Georgia Tech hat?
Damn right. Because they're going to give Georgia all they want before that SEC championship game. And I'm rooting like hell for Tech. Plus, I like what they did when they beat Miami.
Hang on a second. Why are you rooting so hard for them? Is it because if Georgia were to happen to lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game, both teams have one loss, both teams probably are going to get left out? That's what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, there is an angle to that, but I don't think you keep the SEC championship out with one loss in the Final Four.
Well, if Alabama has one loss, they're not getting in before Texas.
If they win the SEC championship and beat the Georgia Bulldogs, I think they'll get in, and I don't care what you do with Texas. Because the thing is that if you're telling me that there's not one SEC team that's in the Final Four as one of the four best teams, I'm telling you, you don't watch this game. You don't watch it. And you can talk about what happened back in September. Okay, fine. But if they win the SEC, and I brought this scenario up and everybody kind of ignored me. It's very possible, and maybe it's too soon to talk about, but it is possible that if Alabama were to go 12-1 and beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and Texas were to go 12-1 and win the Big 12, what do you do? And then you've got FSU who's undefeated. You got one of those Big 10 teams. Let me ask you this, QB. If you had to bet on Ohio State or Michigan against Alabama and Georgia, I mean, do you really think? Does anybody really think two teams that? And by the way, that Ohio State win against Notre Dame is looking less and less impressive after what Notre Dame just
Ohio
showed.
State, Michigan. I've watched just a little bit of both those teams, and my eyes tell me Michigan is way better than Ohio State.
Okay, well, we don't. Do we know that?
Though? That doesn't mean anything. I think Florida State's going to struggle with Louisville in the ACC championship game.
Sure. Yeah. Florida State has to run the table. Have no room for error.
All right, JC, go pray that your Yellow Jackets win some games and beat Georgia, because we got to get to Scott Rabalais.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right, guys. See you Friday.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We're going to talk a little LSU football, get Scott's thoughts on Jayden Daniels is going to play. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Thursday, November the 16th, come celebrate the release of our Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Lugo's Risky Rum. This exclusive release features a special spread of our farm-to-table food, rum cocktails, raffles, and a meet and greet with me. Each ticket includes a bottle of Spurrier's Single Barrel Select Risky Rum. And I'll sign the bottle if you'd like. So get your ticket before they sell out at spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. Going to head back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. And we're going to be joined by Scott Rabalais from the Advocate over in Baton Rouge. Good morning, Scott. Appreciate your time, bud.
Good morning, Shane. Pleasure to be with you.
All right. First of all, before we jump into LSU football, is all hell breaking loose with the Lady Tigers going down in there as the defending national champs in game one?
I think people were kind of shocked, obviously, especially that they lost. They got down by like about 20 points in the second half. But I don't think Kim Mulkey probably was entirely upset. I think it kind of sends a little message that to the team that really lets them know that the NIL deals and red carpets and stuff like that are over. They got to get down to work, and I think they'll get it together eventually. But yeah, it was a little shocking. I think everybody thought the little air of invincibility with this team that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk football. Obviously, LSU coming off a disappointing loss at Alabama. Pretty much cannot win the SEC West. Jayden Daniels goes down. First, tell me what you think the mentality of this team going into not just the Florida game, but for the rest of the season, knowing you can't win the SEC. And do you think there's any way Jayden Daniels plays in this game Saturday?
Jayden Daniels first. Yeah, I think he can. He did not practice yesterday, according to one of their players, and we'll hear from Brian Kelly on the SEC teleconference later this morning. see if he gives us any updates. But he did not practice yesterday. He was at practice. So Garrett Nussmeier got all the reps. I think the mentality is, look, it's always a letdown one way or another after the Alabama game. It's either a letdown of a great win, on occasion, or a lot of times it's a loss, and you got to try to pick up the pieces. So there's familiarity with that for LSU. I think Brian Kelly is certainly trying to instill in the team the notion, like, if you win out and you win your bowl game, it's still a 10-win season. That would be back-to-back 10-win seasons. That would be a good start to this era of LSU football, if you can do that. But they know it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy particularly against Florida and Texas A&M. So I think the attitude is still pretty good. I think the players are probably more resilient than the fans are and stuff like that, and thinking that, well, they're not as hung up on the fact that they can't win the SEC West, or they can't go to the college football playoff, or this or that. But I think they'll bounce back, especially for a game and an opponent like so familiar with, like Florida.
When you look at Jayden Daniels this year, if I were a Heisman voter, he would be my guy. I think he's had an unbelievable year. Statistically, it's off the charts. You've covered the Tigers for a long time, and obviously Joe Burrow's year with that offense. How would you rank these two offenses? Because statistically, they're pretty close. It's kind of a different way of doing things, but I mean, where would you rank Jayden Daniels the year that he's having compared in LSU football history? Yeah,
I mean, the year that Joe had in the old LSU team in 2019 is something that may never be surpassed. Joe ended up in 15 games with 6,000 yards passing and 60 touchdowns. I mean, that's really, really tough. But Jayden is right there. This could very well be, assuming he comes back at some point from the what we also assume is a concussion from the Alabama game, is poised to have the second best season, any LSU quarterback's ever had. So, and when that includes guys like Burt Jones and Tommy Hodson and Jamarcus Russell and Matt Flynn and players like that, over the years, that's pretty darn good. I mean, he's been tremendous. It's been very similar, and it's been a little different as well. He obviously is. Joe ran the ball, but he is more of a runner than Joe was. And that's a bigger part of his attack. That makes him so difficult to defend. And he's just been tremendous. He's still fourth in the country in passing yards per game. Still leads the nation in total offense. Leads the nation in passing efficiency. Passing yards, he's fifth. It's a bit responsible for a second. He was just, he actually, even in coming out after basically three quarters, he outgained Jalen Milroe a little bit. Jalen Milroe had the 4 touchdowns, but Jayden Daniels threw for 2, and he did his part there as well. So it's just been a tremendous season, and similar to Burrow, but it also similar in that they came as transfers and had a pretty good first year, some ups and downs, and then the second year just kind of took off, and that's been a similar thing. And I got to say, as an aside, to hear that a former quarterback like yourself thinks he should win the Heisman Trophy, or he would get his vote, is speaks a lot to me. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a year. 1966 HBC beers available at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Gator Games in the Swamp, and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager, 1966 HBC beers. Speaking with Scott Rabalais from the Advocate over in Baton Rouge, a few more minutes with him. All right, let's switch to the other side of the ball. I mean, whether it's Florida or LSU, for all these years, they argued who was DBU. Well, neither one of them can cover anybody. Are you just shocked as I am, or is everybody that follows LSU football, how poorly they played defensively this year?
Yeah, you kind of expected that it was not going to be great this year, especially, let's go back to the start of the Brian Kelly era. He's watching the Texas Bowl from the press box when LSU played Kansas State 2 years ago, and they got 39 scholarship players who were available. So they had to restock the secondary with transfers like Jarek Bernard Converse and Mekhi Garner, and these guys left, so you had to restock again. You kind of on this merry-go-round with the transfer portal in the secondary, but you thought the front seven would be really, really good. You got Mason Smith coming back, and Harold Perkins. Everybody's preseason All-American, and Mekhi Wingo and stuff. Now Wingo's hurt. Mason Smith has not really, done anything impressive. And Harold Perkins, they had the mistake of trying to start him as an inside linebacker. Now they put him back on the edge and move it around, do different things. He's been better, but he hasn't been. I don't think he's going to be an All-American. And so, yeah, it's shocking to look up and see LSU is 102nd nationally in rushing defense and total defense 96th, and scoring defense tied for 87th, and first downs allowed. First downs defense 82nd. It's and it is what's funny, Shane, is it's such the flip side of what you had at LSU for so many years under Les Miles, when LSU fans were saying, "Gosh, they could just modernize the offense, right? If they could just join the 21st century with the offense, the defense is good." And now it's the flip side. The offense is as good as you could ask for it to be. And the defense is struggling so much. And this is LSU's identity, pretty much. And as much as people love offense, at LSU, the identity is the Chinese Bandits in 1958, and Tommy Casanova, and Booger McFarland, and Glenn Dorsey, and the Honey Badger, and Patrick Peterson, and the DBU thing that everyone likes to claim. And it's very disconcerting, I think, to people around here when LSU is not good on defense. That's like the opposite of what has traditionally been their foundation.
Yeah, it's hard to see both LSU and Florida struggling defensively. Scott, last thing for you. Dan on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, wants to know, what's your favorite restaurant in Baton Rouge? He must be coming to the game and need a place to go eat.
My favorite restaurant. Yeah, that's really a tough one. I kind of struggle with that all the time. There's a little hole-in-the-wall Italian place near my house. I live like a mile from campus, called the Giulio Brothers. But the little village in downtown Baton Rouge is also very good, an Italian place. And if you want seafood, there's a place called Pa Ran's, which is near my house as well, and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with the Little Village. Really, really good Italian food.
Good deal. Well, Scott, we appreciate your time. Let everybody know, if they want to read up on the LSU Tigers, how they can follow you on Twitter and read your stuff online.
Sure. Thank you. We're at theadvocate.com or NOLA.com. That's pretty easy to remember. We have two different websites for our papers, because we're the Advocate and the Times-Picayune in New Orleans, and all our LSU stuff's there too. And then I'm on Twitter, or X, or whatever they call it these days, at Rabalais ADV, Rabalais ADV. So short for Advocate. So if you get on there, you can read a few stories this week, and you probably won't have to be asked to go behind a paywall or anything like that. If you just read a few and to brush up on the Tigers, getting ready for this game.
Good stuff, my man. I appreciate your time. We'll see you Saturday at Tiger Stadium.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That's Scott Rabalais. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvement. It's going to take a quick timeout, come back, follow up on some of these texts y'all sent in. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Thursday, November the 16th, come celebrate the release of our Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Lugo's Risky Rum. This exclusive release features a special spread of our farm-to-table food, rum cocktails, raffles, and a meet and greet with me. Each ticket includes a bottle of Spurrier's Single Barrel Select Risky Rum. And I'll sign the bottle if you'd like. So get your ticket before they sell out at spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Again, I want to thank JC and Scott Rabalais from the Baton Rouge Advocate for joining us on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. This day in sports brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. 1970, Tom Dempsey, straight-on kicker of the New Orleans Saints, kicks their NFL record 63-yard field goal. I think that's been broken since then. But that's this day in sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. 63 yards back in those days, straight on, is crazy, crazy, crazy. If you missed it, lost my train of thought for a second. Anyway, we've had a ton of questions, comments, Facebook Lives, YouTubes, all about, and I went into depth. I did go on David Waters' Gators Breakdown, I think is the name of his program, yesterday. He does a tremendous job. He asked me to come on, so we went on there and talked about the procedural stuff, and I have concerns about the procedural stuff because it should not happen. I mean, like I said, you can question play calling, you can bitch and complain about missed tackles or not playing the ball or right tackle or left tackle, not being able to block. But the other stuff, it's a combination of everybody that has a headset on. Just want to leave it at that, people. And if you don't have the people understanding football and knowing what to do in a certain situation, it's everybody. Yes, the head coach has the final say, but I think he needs help in some capacity. So that's just my thoughts. I'm still trying to get over the way we lost that game. It's Wednesday; it should be over by now. Like I said, I don't care if you. I'd still be upset even if we make that field goal. If Trey Smack makes it, I'm still upset at how it happened. So. That's just my 2 cents. But let me see here. There was a text I wanted to get to. Let me see if I can find it. I apologize. I'm on the road today, folks. Busy. Dan says Justin Tucker hit a 66-yarder back in the day. What year was that? It went away. 2021. Annie asks or says, did you see that James Madison wrote a letter to the NCAA to become bowl eligible? They could be in the New Year's Six Bowl if they went out. Yes, and they should allow them. Jacksonville State's the same way with Rich Rodriguez, their head coach. That's the dumbest damn rule I've ever heard of. I mean, the NCAA has some dumb rules, but that could possibly be the dumbest. Just because you move up to FBS, why you have to sit out a year or two or whatever it is, to be able to be in the playoff hunt or be bowl eligible, just is dumb. So the Dukes of James Madison are undefeated right now. And hopefully the NCAA will use some common sense and say, yes, these guys can go to a bowl. Hell, they may win their conference, and yeah, they'll be on New Year's 16 because if it's not them, it'll be Tulane, I believe. Gosh, I should have asked Scott Andy's question about the opinion of Brian Kelly. I think some people like him, some people don't over there. I have some LSU buddies. Of course, they like him at times when they win, but when they lose, they question everything he does. Isn't that typical? Toby says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, Scott Trimble was on the Great Wall, not David Williams. Williams came after Scott Trimble. I don't know the answer to that. We'll go with what y'all say. And then John tells Andy they won't rule on the appeal until February. Well, the bowls will be over. That's dumb. So hopefully I think I saw also where one of the bowl games, and I don't think they're going to call it a bowl, but if they are not allowed to play, they're going to have James Madison play Jacksonville State in a so-called bowl game. I think I saw that. I could be wrong. But heck, I think they should. I did see where the Bahamas Bowl, which I wish the Gators could go to the Bahamas Bowl. Not this year, though, because they're renovating the one football stadium that they play soccer in over there. So they have to play the Bahama Bowl in Charlotte at UNC Charlotte's on-campus stadium. So that kind of stinks for whoever goes to the Bahamas Bowl this year. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up a little early today. I appreciate all the calls, the comments, the texts, all that stuff. Y'all make this show roll with everything that you do. And we'll have Brent Beard tomorrow. I'm trying to get the play-by-play guy for the LSU Tigers on the program. And I have a text into one other former player. I don't want to give out who it is in case he can't come on. I don't want people to bash him. So still trying to get some of those guys on to get their thoughts from Baton Rouge. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.